Welcome back to Trackside Conversations on the Prince Green Channel, the show where we break down the biggest stories in the racing world with a mix of analysis, caution, and common sense. This is Jordan.
And I am Maya.
Today we're diving into one of the most heated debates in sports history, horse racing or otherwise. And I already know I'm right, so this episode is going to be easy for me because the greatest horse race ever, without question, without hesitation, without any remote possibility of debate, is Secretariat. Period. End of show.
Wow, you really came in hot. I'm impressed. But unfortunately for you, we actually do have to do an episode today. And yes, Secretariat is an icon. No argument there. But greatest of all time? Come on. There are decades of phenomenal champions across different continents and eras. We're not just accepting your big red worship unchallenged.
You can challenge all you want. You could bring a whole cavalry. Secretariat still wins.
We'll see about that. I've got names. Lots of them.
And I've got facts and numbers and the Belmont Stakes, which is basically its own religion.
All right. Let's get into it. For the record, I'm not anti-Secretariat. I'm just pro-context.
Let's start by defining the question. When we say greatest horse of all time, we're talking about a combination of raw ability, race record, historical impact, physical dominance, and legacy. And when you line that up, Secretariat checks every single box.
Agreed, but the definition leaves room for interpretation. Some fans value unbeaten streaks. Some value versatility. Some look at international success or longevity. Secretariat was a comet. Blinding, brilliant, but brief. There are horses whose careers spanned years and years at elite levels.
Sure, but dominance matters more than duration. A long career doesn't automatically mean greatness. It might mean you weren't dominant enough to retire early.
Or it might mean your connections didn't rush to the breeding shed.
We could talk about the economics of racing today versus the 1970s, but let's stay on topic. Secretariat is number one.
And I'm here to bring in the challengers.
All right, let me set the foundation for Secretariat's throne. First, the obvious. His 1973 Triple Crown wasn't just a win. It was an annihilation of the sport's imagination. The Times wrote that watching Secretariat was like standing in the presence of a god. The cameras couldn't keep up with him. Jockeys said he ran with a rhythm no horse should physically achieve. Let's go through the three races. Kentucky Derby, 1 minute 59 and 2/5. Still the fastest Derby ever run. No horse before or since has broken 2 minutes. And the even crazier part? Secretariat ran each quarter mile faster than the last. That's like a sprinter doing personal bests every lap of a mile. Preakness officially 1:53. And don't get me started on the timing controversy. The electronic timer failed, and decades later, the Maryland Racing Commission unanimously voted to make his time the fastest in Preakness history. Belmont Stakes 2:24. The most jaw-dropping performance in racing history. He won by 31 lengths. 31! You could land aircraft between him and the runner-up. His final time is still the world record for 1.5 miles on dirt. Not national record, world record. He had an oversized heart, literally. Autopsy reports estimated it at 22 pounds. A normal thoroughbred heart weighs around 8 pounds. And then there's the stride. Secretariat's stride was measured at an absurd 25 to 28 feet, depending on whose data you trust. This was a horse built like a machine, engineered by the gods of athleticism.
All right, I'll give you the Belmont. Every time I watch it, I get chills. That race is the closest thing the sport has to a supernatural moment.
You're proving my point.
I'm acknowledging a performance, not handing over the crown just yet. All right, let's widen the field. When racing historians discuss the greatest of all, the list goes far beyond Secretariat. Let's start with some heavy hitters. Man of War. Many historians still rank him ahead of Secretariat. He won 20 of 21 races. And that one loss? He finished second by half a length after getting stuck in a nightmare start where he was literally facing backwards when the bell rang. He carried massive weights, set multiple records, and his bloodlines shaped the sport. For Rob Lapp, Australian icon, dominated during the Great Depression, carried ridiculous weight, sometimes more than 130 pounds, in still crushed fields. He won the Agua Caliente handicap, carrying a weight no horse today would even be allowed to run with. Frankel, world's highest-rated racehorse by many global metrics, retired undefeated, 14 starts, 14 wins, destroyed elite European competition by margins rarely seen on turf. His acceleration seemed to defy physics. Black Caviar, 25 wins from 25 starts. World champion sprinter, never defeated, traveled internationally and dominated abroad even when injured. Seabird. Many European experts argue that his 1965 Derby and Arc were the greatest combined campaign ever. He beat extraordinary competition and made them look like amateurs. Winx, 33 consecutive wins. Absolutely untouchable in Australia. Beat multiple Grade 1 winners time after time. Citation, the first horse to earn $1 million. Almost unbeatable at his peak. Won the Triple Crown with absurd ease. Ruffian, the greatest filly many have ever seen. Never headed at any point in her career until the tragic match race. So when you claim Secretariat is the GOAT, as if it's settled matter, these horses absolutely demand a seat at the table.
They can set, but Secretariat remains at the head.
Let's dig into comparisons. The biggest rival to Secretariat in most historical debates is Man of War.
And Secretariat still wins.
Man of War raced in 1919 to 1920, so we're working with a much different era. But the man practically broke the sport with his dominance. He won races by absurd margins, even without being fully pushed. He carried huge weights. His competition was often terrified of him.
True, but Secretariat faced deeper fields, and his times, especially on modern tracks, are objectively faster.
Of course they are. Training methods, surfaces, nutrition, everything evolved between 1920 and 1973. You can't compare times across eras.
I absolutely can compare dominance across eras. Secretariat didn't just beat competitors, he destroyed them at a level of visibility that defined a generation. Man of War was great. Secretariat was transcendent.
Or maybe Man of War was transcendent for his era, which had fewer sports, less media, and slower track conditions.
You're basically arguing that Secretariat was more famous because he lived in a TV era, but his actual performances match the hype.
What about the unbeaten horses? Black Caviar, Frankel, Personal Enzyme, Zenyatta's almost perfect record. These horses never lost. Secretariat did. 5 times.
Ah, yes, the undefeated equals greatest argument. I don't buy it. Some horses stay at safe distances, shorter fields, favorable tracks. Secretariat wasn't protected. He ran wherever he needed to run, against whoever showed up, carrying whatever he was assigned. He lost because he raced aggressively and faced circumstances like illness and tactical errors, not because he was outclassed.
Fair, but Frankel wasn't exactly dodging challenges. He ran in Europe, where Group 1 fields are stacked with elite talent. His Queen Anne performance is considered one of the greatest mile races of all time.
Frankel was a monster, but he never raced beyond 1¼ miles. Secretariat proved his brilliance from 6 furlongs to 1½ miles. That's range, that's versatility, that's greatness.
You can't critique Frankel for being a miler, middle-distance horse when that's the structure of European racing.
I'm not critiquing. I'm just saying Secretariat had a broader resume.
Okay, let's shift continents. Take Winx. 33 straight wins.
Tactical versatility, freakish closing speed. For 5 years, she was untouchable.
And I love Winks, but racing 1,000 times on the same track is different from becoming a global icon through raw individual brilliance.
She beat 12 different Group 1 winners, many multiple times. Her speed figures were phenomenal.
Secretariat's fractions still make trainers gasp today. Winks had longevity. Secretariat had peak performance so outrageous that we use him as a benchmark for every athletic animal: horses, sprinters, swimmers.
But winning 33 in a row isn't just longevity, it's dominance, too.
True, but Secretariat dominated against deeper U.S. fields and on a grander stage. And again, the Belmont Stakes alone is a piece of sports mythology.
This is where the debate gets nuanced. Secretariat might have the greatest moment in racing history, the Belmont. But does one moment define the greatest career?
It's not just a moment, it's a triple crown where he set records in all 3 races, a feat unmatched by anyone else in the sport. Those records stand half a century later.
True. But Black Caviar's undefeated career lasted years. Winks's winning streak spanned years. Kelso won 5 Horse of the Year titles. Forgo carried more weight than anyone today could imagine.
But Secretariat didn't need years. He burned so bright so fast that the entire world turned into believers. His career was a supernova. Others were steady flames. Supernovas are rare. That's why their legacy endures.
Let's talk biology. Secretariat was built unlike any other racehorse in history. A massive yet efficient musculoskeletal structure, perfect stride mechanics, a heart 3 times normal size, ideal aerodynamics and oxygen capacity. A lot of experts argue that no horse before or since combined his physiological gifts.
Sure, but Secretariat's numbers are unparalleled.
Numbers that were measured after he died. We don't know the heart size of Manowar or Farlap with modern precision. Farlap was rumored to have a heart over 13 pounds.
Rumored. Secretariat's is documented.
Fair, but greatness isn't determined by an autopsy alone.
Secretariat didn't just dominate, he united the country. During a turbulent era, he gave the nation something joyful to rally around.
True, but many horses have become emotional symbols. Seabiscuit literally lifted American spirits during the Depression.
Absolutely, but Secretariat's impact was global. He transcended racing itself. His name is still shorthand for absolute supremacy.
But legacy is subjective. Farlap is a god in Australia. Winks has statues. Frankel is worshipped in Europe. Black Caviar is a cultural icon.
And Secretariat tops all of them in international recognition.
Mostly because of Hollywood and American media reach.
Or because he genuinely earned it.
If we define greatness as undefeated, that's Frankel or Black Caviar. Longevity, that's Winks or Kelso. Weight-carrying dominance, Forgo or Farlap. Bloodline influence, Northern Dancer, Mr. Prospector, Galileo. International dominance, Seabird, Ribot, Dubai Millennium. Power and pure spectacle, Secretariat.
You just admitted the key point. When you want perfection, you go to Frankel. When you want fearlessness, you go to Farlap. When you want longevity, you go to Winks. But when you want the horse who was better than the concept of being a racehorse, you go to Secretariat.
That's poetic, but I'm still not conceding. I'm saying the GOAT conversation must be multidimensional. Secretariat is in the top tier, maybe number 1, maybe number 2, maybe tied with others depending on the criteria.
But if an alien landed on Earth and we wanted to show them what a racehorse should be, we'd show them the 1973 Belmont.
That I won't argue. The Belmont is the most overwhelming performance ever recorded in the sport.
Which, by the transitive property of greatness,
You're not about to invoke math in a horse racing debate.
means Secretariat is the greatest of all time.
It means Secretariat has the greatest single performance of all time. It doesn't automatically make him the greatest horse of all time.
Look, all the great horses deserve respect. Every name you mentioned, Man o' War, Frankel, Black Caviar, Farlap, Winks. Each one changed the sport. Each one defined excellence. But Secretariat didn't just raise the bar, he vaporized it.
And I'll counter by saying the sport has had many eras, many surfaces, many types of greatness. Secretariat is an immortal legend, but so are the others. The greatest? Possibly, but definitive, the debate is too rich and too complex to crown a single king without acknowledging the brilliance of multiple dynasties across time.
And I'm acknowledging them. I'm just saying they all bow to Big Red.
And I'm saying the throne might be bigger than one horse.
All right, listeners, what do you think? Is Secretariat the uncontested GOAT, or does one of the other legends deserve the crown?
Drop your thoughts, your rankings, your outrage, especially if you are a Man of War, Frankel, or Winks loyalist.
Until next time,
Keep the debate alive.
and keep loving the sport.